Anywho. So Craig and I were, Craig, the Obamacare lawyer, and I, my mountain biking buddy and I, as we were chatting whilst riding up and down the mountains, he revealed to me that his uncle, as he was a kid, used to drum certain things into his head about politics. And he's expanded on those and offered up his rules for voting. And some of them are inspired actually by you and I. So I thought we would mention these, go through them, and discuss them. As many people are heading out to the polls, and it's funny, I brought
not very many people, but some people are.
Well, a disproportionate number of our listeners are probably going to vote today, I would guess. And I was actually...
If you're not registered to vote...
Yes?
Register and vote.
That's some really good advice there. I actually brought my absentee ballot with me this morning to fill out and then chat with Judy about it before she goes out to vote. I forgot to mail it in.
You tell your wife how to vote.
Well,
wow,
no,
I suspected that.
No, we discuss it. Anyway, even I was shocked, as happens every time, by how many things are on the ballot. I mean, I'm a news junkie, and I didn't know some of the stuff was on the ballot. So here are some general guidelines for you. I'll give you number one. You know what? Why don't we break actually on time for once in our lives? And we'll have those for you in a moment.
I'll tell you what, if Marshall Tuck loses today, democracy is dead in California.
Oh, yeah, I would agree.
I mean, if every newspaper, including all the liberal newspapers, say you got to vote for Marshall Tuck, and he still loses, then forget it.
And the career hack union whore wins. Yeah, you just, I mean, seriously, time for civil disobedience. And perhaps, depending on your personal opinion, I'd never suggest this, but tap dancing around, the laws of God and man. In terms of the government we've got. It's a dictatorship.
Although I'm telling you, white folk are ready to riot!
I don't think it's just white folk. Although, here's the crazy part. It's a willingly ordained dictatorship by the people of California.
Yeah. Stay with us. You're listening to the Armstrong and Getty Show. Up next, Georgia, where Williamson is up by 2 points, according to most polls, because of his siding with the Obamacare. So we'll...
Williamson voted with the president 97% of the time.
This is what they're actually doing.
Does Georgia want Williamson?
This is what they're actually doing on every cable news channel and then the major channels. I'm looking at the Today Show. You got Chuck Todd up there looking at the map, going through each race, race by race, who they think will win. Why don't you just wait a couple of hours?
There's a poll today, and it's 100% accurate.
Later this afternoon, we'll know.
Yeah.
What is the point of this? Yeah. I guess it's the same as getting up in the morning and talking about who's going to win a football game when you could just watch it.
Yeah, I suppose so. That's okay. People seem amused by it.
That's fun.
Yeah. Here's your rules for voting. Heavy contribution from our friend Craig, the Obamacare lawyer, and his uncle, and us. Simple election rule number 1. Vote against every new law unless it is to repeal more than one other law or diminish the government's power.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, then. I like the repealing one, too. Got to repeal a law for every new law you pass, or 2. That'd be great. Simple election rule number 2. Your starting point should always be to vote against the incumbent unless you're absolutely certain the incumbent grows liberty.
I generally feel that way. I'm all for throwing out whoever's in. Because I think if you throw out whoever's in, you're just going to get a more responsive governing body in general. If you regularly throw out who's in.
I think that one's a very interesting point. It's really easy as a voter to kind of say, especially on offices.
Oh, you're so gurgly, Sean.
Especially on offices you don't know about. You say, I guess this who's ever doing it is doing just fine. Let me just, status quo sort of thing. It's very easy to kind of fall into that trap. I think it's an interesting point to always side on the incumbent if you're not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm 100% on board with that one, but I'm not going to veto it either. Of course, the Armstrong Getty Constitution gives us both veto power.
I'd say if it's just kind of a toss-up, always go for throwing the bum out.
Right. Yep.
Make them go back to earn a living like the rest of us.
Let's see. Simple election rule number 3: don't rock the vote. Never rock the vote. Only encourage voting by those who love freedom and liberty in all cases. And have a clue.
See, that's why I'm. so down about the way the election is going to go today, because the Republicans, the team that wears R on their jersey is probably going to have a good day and probably win. And at the end of the day, you're going to see, if you're watching the news, there's going to be a bunch of celebrations and balloons, and people are going to be excited. And how many of those people that have R's on their jersey give a flying F about liberty? How many of them actually believe it'd be better if the government were smaller, if we took in less money, if we spent less money? How many of them that are going to be elected today believe that? Very, very few.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Vince, did you get my elephant hat dry cleaned? You're so right. And actually, I've got information on that will drive that point home. I mean, way home, all the way home, too deep home. Pardon me. Final election rule. And this to me,
this show needs a sneeze guard.
You know. All right, here's back to your point, by the way. I will break this down for you, the R versus D thing. This is from my point of view. Some of you disagree, and I absolutely respect that, and a lot of you are really nice people, so that's cool. I would much prefer the R's in charge than Harry Reid and the D's. I find him to be absolutely despicable. But it is an incremental improvement. It is nowhere near a solution. I mean, it's even laughable to suggest that the R's in charge is a solution. Now, if you're with me on that, we see eye to eye. First, get Harry Reid out, but then we got to put the whip. I mean, Mitch McConnell, that cartoon turtle-looking phony piece of crap. He's going to be in charge of the Senate? You think that's going to bring salvation to the people of America? Please.
See, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that that's the right way. I don't know what's the right way to go about it. But I don't see how you're going to replace, if the R's are in the majority, I don't know how you're going to replace those R's with more fiscally conservative R's. It seems like the only way that would ever happen is if the fiscally conservative R beat a D.
Yeah. Well, more on that. More on that question.
The reason I know that that's not necessarily true is by looking at California.
What do you mean?
You got a test case here. You got the one party in charge, Democrats in charge, spending more money, government going bigger, getting further and further in debt. You would think that's when you'd have the chance for an uprising of fiscal conservatism.
Right.
But that hasn't happened.
Well, nobody has any idea it's going on.
So maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe people have to know it's happening.
But seriously, the whole, if you think the R's are a solution, I got another thing coming at you or something. Stay tuned for that. Final election rule. And this, to me... This is, to me, the mother of these rules. This is the big one, the Kahuna, the Megillah. No matter how wonderfully noble the goal sounds, the money is already there. Prioritize. No more sanctioned plunder. No matter how good the new program sounds, the money is already there. Government, prioritize. So true. They have so much money. But now, for instance, California, terrible drought. We're like 35 years behind in water storage. And now they've got to borrow gobs more money to build water. It's the perfect water storage. It's the perfect test case. It's bitterly needed, according to everyone. And it's needed soon. But they already have the money.
It's all this infrastructure talk you hear nationwide about our roads and bridges falling down.
We got to invest in our roads and bridges.
You know how many damn taxes have been passed over how many decades to take care of that?
Oh, yeah.
That money has been raised multiple times, but it just got spent on other crap.
Well, right. When the government does everything, when it's time for the government to do what it's supposed to do, it turns out it's empty pockets. Oh, no, we need to borrow money. We need a temporary tax on the rich to pay their fair share. We don't have any money.
I tell you what, I think the whole thing has got to crash hard, like nearly destroy the nation hard before you're ever going to have a huge wave of small government fiscal conservatism.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I hope that's not true, but I don't see any other way happening.
That's why I bought gold from William Devane.
Buy gold.
Gold. And silver now. He's pitching silver, too, which is a lovely metal.
Have you seen the one where he rides up on the Harley and it's clearly somebody else? And
no, I haven't seen that one.
The Harley rides up. He's got a helmet on, full fella's helmet, so you can't see the face. Clearly a different dude. And then they do a screen shift where it's like the lighting's different and everything's different, and he's standing next to a Harley and I think a similar looking jacket.
Wow.
I'm William Devane. I love the freedom of riding on the open road. I also love the freedom of gold.
Buy my gold, not Glenn Beck's gold. And for God's sake, not Fred Thompson's gold.
I'm actually too old and unsteady to ride a motorcycle. But it looks good in an ad. I'm William Devane.
I borrowed this Harley from a Viagra commercial. Buy gold. So there are your rules for voting. Can we somehow post